So yeah, so do keep in mind that we have hybrid animals, and it's interesting how those animals are both the animals that we're told are delicacies, and they are also the animals which oftentimes people have allergic reactions to. Do you know anyone who can't eat seafood because of having a allergy? They get deformed too, don't they? Red lobster. The red having to do with the forbidden, the vibration of warning. Insects, jasher, and the spirit of fear. Consider your reaction if you saw a crab walk out of your closet, or a scorpion and a lobster walking down your hallway. Would you only step on the scorpion? Some of you may have been so conditioned to love the butter, and you think you love the lobster. But some of you have been so conditioned to love that butter that you might kill that scorpion and let that lobster roam and find a garbage bag for a home. Have mercy. But catch it, keep it, and eat it. But your natural reaction, had you not been conditioned by Red Lobster and by society in general to believe that what they say is highfalutin and good eating is good eating, you would see that and you would react the same way to both of those extraterrestrial looking insects. Spiders are a big deal for Halloween. The arachnid family is also the family which brought us the scorpion and the lobster. You had the song by B-52's Rock Lobster. Then you also had the character that was a lobster alien on Futurama. The insectoids that some people talk about. These are part insect, part human, or large insects. When I was a young dude, I remember I had some action figures called the Insectors. They were part human, part insects, good guys and bad guys, giant bugs that they rode and different things of that nature. Okay, again, Hollywood does not come up with creative and original ideas. If you do not serve the creator, how can you be creative? But what they can do is they can skew, or they can tweak ideas that are kept secret by societies that are sacred. Okay, in South Park you had the crab people. In the movie The Devil Rides Out, starring Christopher Lee, which is an occult classic movie, if you can find that movie, you a bad motor scooter. The Devil Rides Out. You have seen different conspiracy theory mix videos, you know, where they mix a lot of different footage together. You've seen footage from it, because there is a very key scene where Baphomet appears and the secret society is all dressed in garments that have an all-seeing eye on it, and all of this from the late 60s, I believe. But The Devil Rides Out, got to see it. Well, in Constantine, you have the scene where, or the recurring scene, where Constantine is about to see a demonic manifestation. He knows this is going to happen because the scene gets dark, and then around his feet he can see the abominable things swarming about. The serpent. I've seen centipedes, spiders, lobster, and crab. Now I thought to myself, as I saw this show, I already had my theory together on lobsters and crabs and the rest. And I said to myself, now why would those delicious, delectable things be down there with those abominable, ugly beings? I said to myself, because they're ugly too. Lobster, crawfish, and crabs, all ugly little insects. You can find mites and things, little microscopic bugs that look like them. Yes, you can. They look atrocious, and you know this. But your mind can override your instinct. Your instinct tells you no. But your mind has been told this eating here is the best. This is the best thing smoking. Isn't that interesting? How that happens? Well, part of it is we live in a land that makes evil fair seeming, that makes the abomination like the mouse a hero or a good character. You look at Charlotte's Web, Stuart Little. Okay, Charlotte's Web, the spider, is a good character. Mighty Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Chipmunks, they all rodents. Sonic the Hedgehog. Interesting that the author of Charlotte Web was a member of the secret society called Aleph-Samek, also of the Quill and Dagger secret society. He was a Phi Gamma Delta, and his brotherhood's symbolism was the owl. So these people who come up with the children's stories and who use these abominations as the characters in the children's stories quite often, they are part of the agenda to program the children to accept evil as fair seeming. Okay? Then you even look at A Bug's Life, James and the Giant Peach. For Halloween, bats are a big symbol. Bats are a hybrid, the rat and the bird. Okay? Yeah. So a reptile and a rat hybrid. Well, they tell us that the birds came from reptiles. Evolution, right? But no, seriously, it is a hybrid. It is a mixed up animal. Who mixed it up? Who came down here and mixed up the animals along with mixing up the people and mixing up the plants. No longer can you just make the argument, well, it grows from the earth. Again, who put together things like this? The weird things on the planet. Okay, the things that zoology says it can't categorize. Well, it's neither this, the platypus, it's neither this or is it that? The part of the whole agenda was to scramble up God's creation. But even worse, to make mankind eat the abomination. Yeah. So then what can I eat? You can eat all kind of stuff. What you mean? You'll never see nothing look like you shouldn't eat it? Something is wrong with you then. Because all of this stuff I'm naming, it look like you shouldn't eat it. And somewhere I bet you they eat some bats. I bet you they fry them up, batter them with Drake batter, put a little Laurie's seasoning on it, and say it tastes just like chicken. But yeah, interesting also for Halloween you find the owl. Who? Not you, sucker. Which is big for Bohemian Grove. Also Drake, the actor that acts like he rapping, wears one around his neck for his medallion. And then Cat Williams, after he did so much great work to expose the great work, is now donning a tattoo on his chin. Well, let's look also at the usage of the cat during this time. Also, a big Halloween symbol. Well, you find many movies that make reference to the spirit in the cat. In the movie Fallen, do you recall? Stephen King's Cat's Eye. In the movie Constantine, Constantine can see into hell by looking into the cat's eyes. You also have the praying mantis, which figures prominently in some occult offerings, like Pan's Labyrinth. Okay, the spirit of the frog, or the spirit jumping in the frog. This is also something that you'll find around the Halloween symbolism, the frog being involved with the witches, certain cartoonish incantations that you'll hear people say when they're imitating a witch. They'll talk about using parts from the frog. Well, again, witches are privy to this information that comes from the ether, where the demons are, and they will tell them certain things. So it's a certain property in a bat, it's a certain property in a frog. Was a frog a created thing? Again, these things pop up again and again and again with me, and then I begin to see relationships later, and that's one that's being built for me as we speak. I've seen some things that make me add the frog to my list, and I just thought about the video game Frogger. But this mixture of humans and beings, or of hybrid beings, period, hybrid humans and hybrid animals, is also identified in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and of course Splinter is an abomination, a rat, a rodent that lives in the sewer. These are things that scare mankind, that cause mankind to have a fear factor naturally, in its natural state. When people naturally see them and have not been conditioned otherwise, they have a natural reaction of fear to these things. But God has not given us the spirit of fear. So why would God make things that cause you to have innate reactions of fear? That's anathema to 2 Timothy 1 and 7. So which one is it? So these things were not given to us by God because they caused the spirit of fear. Overstood? These things were allowed, like we've been allowed to create some things. Ever heard of the Liger? So we're following in the footsteps of the fallen in creating things ourselves, making evil fair seeming first and foremost, but then playing God secondarily. This is what the fallen was really all about doing, playing God. Okay, the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Okay, we have toads and frogs involved in the plague of Egypt, Exodus 8 and 2. And then of course you have this very dubious relationship. Even as a child, didn't you feel something was very wrong with this on a lot of levels? Kermit and Miss Piggy, which was obviously voiced by a man, so it was really two men playing two arguably abominable beasts in love, or at least the one beast in intense lust, infatuation with the other one. But that was cute. That was cute, right? Okay. Babe the pig, the princess kissing the frog, and of course for those who want to be proud. Every time somebody black is used, misused, and abused and thrown before us as a role model, this was another example of that foolishness of doing so. I don't celebrate Tyler Perry because he's a black man that's made it big. He's a black man that made it big, and he's a big black man in a big old dress. And that is a mess to me, and it's nothing to support. It would be as ludicrous as me saying, well, let's support the new Disney movie because the princess was black in there. I would not support it because it's got low-key tinges of bestiality and of transhumanism and of what we're talking about, making evil fair seeming, and the whole transfiguring from reptile to human dynamic is all hidden in the princess kissing the frog. Just like Beauty and the Beast, this human or this people mixing with animals or mixing with beasts dynamic. So they got us on a seafood diet. Every time we see food, we ready to eat. And it's a diet for sure, because it will make you die. Instead of trying to eat to live, you live to eat. It's making evil fair seeming. All you can eat. Fear factor and Peter's vision. Acts 10:1, Acts 11 and 18, Acts 10:9 through 19. Delicacies, expensive. Eat like the elite. Emily Rose. That scene where Emily Rose was sitting in her bedroom floor, I believe it was, munching on something. And they came in there, and to their shock and amazement, she was munching on bugs, dried up dead bugs and beetles. And it reminded me of when I saw friends of mine chowing down on some crawfish. Said, "You want some of these crawfish, Ted?" I said, "No, thank you." I went in there and I looked at them one last time, just because, I believe in, being cordial. Somebody asks you if you want something, you over their place, they eating their delicacy or whatever. I looked at it. I already knew what time it was, because I went with them when they picked them out, fresh and live, crawling around in a little thing. It wasn't a thing full of water, because they can't just live in pure water. Yeah, they had to have enough land to walk on. So they were walking around in this thing with a little sheet of water. Some of them was up out of the water, walking around it. But they looked clearly like bugs. But again, delicacies. Normally, in the case of lobsters, crab, shrimp, which is the roaches of the sea. You ever seen a shrimp before it's deveined and battered up all night? You like the batter. You ever been eating a thing of shrimp, and one of the shrimp done got out the batter? So you got the batter hull there, and then you got the shrimp unbattered. You eat that shrimp, you done got accustomed to the taste. So you ain't gonna say it don't taste good. It's salted and all of that. But you eat that batter, this the good part here. It ain't the shrimp to you. It's the batter. That's why they got all kind of different type of shrimp. Coconut batter shrimp. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All kind of shrimp batter, because it's the batter. But first you are told something is for rich people. Then later you learn what it is. And most people, if they're told something is for rich people, or even more elementary, if you tell a person you can't have some, what does it make them do? So it's a slick trick in a way that the demons that run the elite get us all to do something abominable. Fear factor epitomizes it, where they got you eating all manner of things that should not be named, all for money. Just like some people would sit up at a luncheon to close a deal, and if these abominations was on the table, they would be eating them so that they would not seem to be out of place, or that they wouldn't seem to be unknowledgeable in front of someone that they respect the personages of. They respect the title of the personage of this person. So they're going to go ahead and eat something that they normally would not eat. And again, I'm not saying this is a salvation issue, but I'm saying, would you please stop taking the words of the Messiah and twisting them up to mean whatever you want them to mean, because you want to make something that you do that's wrong right. We can't fight the good fight until you at least begin to see, okay, this is what I do right here. This ain't what's up. You got to at least see that. If you can't see that, all is lost. Because that means denial got a hold of you. And if denial can get a hold of you, pride can get a hold of you, and all the rest of them, to your whole point of view would have to be questioned. But I'm trying to tell you right now, right here, right now, if you can first admit, well, you know what? No. Peter's vision was not giving us the permission to eat anything we want to anytime. There's some things you can't eat. Some animals you cannot eat. They'll poison you. That's right. So again, now, and for those who are in a wildlife wilderness situation where catching and hunting stuff is all you can do to eat, I'm not talking to you. More power to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people in the city who got the choice of eating whatever it is they so choose to eat. But they're not thinking about the choices that they're making. Why have I chosen to buy this to eat? Who turned me on to it? What does it make me think and feel like when I'm eating it? You're eating bonbons and sorbet because of the way these things sound. Somebody hear me. Somebody too near me not to hear me. Squid is escargot. Lobster is scorpion, spider. Fish eggs, caviar. Crab legs, spider. You got Barney and Casper. Again, making things as scary, fair seeming. Amusement parks do the same thing. Do you like pain with your pleasure? It's part of that whole duality. You looking at something ugly, somebody telling you this is what rich folk eat, or this is what we eat here, or this is good eating, man. This costs whatever, $30. Will that make you eat it when your instincts is telling you no? My mind's telling me no, but your homeboy is telling you yes. Hey man, this is good eating. I don't know what to say for you. How to Train Your Dragon. Again, you're making evil, making scary things fair seeming. Shrek. That's right. You also had a tame female dragon It went with a donkey. So this cross species thing, this whole thing, again, it was not done by the Creator. It was allowed by the Creator, who allowed for things to get what the fallen thought was mixed up. But it's all part of a greater plan. Okay. Oh, the wisdom of the Most High. He outsmarts the so-called all-seeing eye every time, because he's got two eyes. Unclean, not permissible, means fear and terror in Yiddish. Shriek, its film debut. When I saw that it meant fear and terror in Yiddish, I said to myself, I bet you this movie came out the same year as the 9/11 conspiracy went down. Movie debuts, Shrek film debut, April 22nd, 2001. Then in Monster Inc., the reptile monster worked secretly for the spider type being. Now, we won't get all off into this because I've never seen them. I would be going off of other people's information. But what I've gleaned with my own experiences and research is that there's a lot of different types of demons. They have different types of body shapes. Two who are popularly accused of being a part of the hierarchy, because demons have a rank, is of course the reptilian beings, which is the fascination with dragons and serpentine beings that we've seen in science fiction for decades, but also the insectoid beings. And it was interesting that in Monsters Inc., the reptile monster worked secretly for the spider type being. Some people get off into that and they will say that the reptilian has taken the brunt as the grunt, as the warlike soldier on the front line. They're taking the heat as being the elite. And then folks will say, well, it's really the insect type demon beings that are over them. Who cares? I ain't got love for neither one of them. So, and The Devil Rides Out, when the ritual is first done using the sacred circle or the Solomon's key to bring up a being, a sign that you've done it right is that you'll first manifest the spider. Now, my old dude used to go through and collect the white spiders. He did not want the white spiders killed. He, you'd be like, Grandma would be like, Teddy, I see a spider. And he'd come running out the room. Where? Is it white? She's like, yeah. And he'd get up on something if he had to and get it. He'd look like he was getting $1 million or something. He'd get it and he'd be looking happy. He'd ball it up in a little napkin and go take it back there in his room. And when he had passed, I remember cleaning his room and finding these little rolled up, balled up pieces of napkin in abundance. But yeah, spider. You look at the spider. You look at the many different types of poisonous spiders that are created and whatnot. Again, the Lord allowed for certain things to be built. I would nominate the spider as one of those things. Look at arachnophobia, the condition and the movie. And Thundercats, alien women and hybrid women were made to look sexy. Again, evil, fair seeming. It was the name Chitara. In the Muppets, Jim Henson. You saw the same thing. Uncleanliness made fair seeming. Greed even made fair seeming. In Sesame Street, you had Oscar, which was the which is the little statue that you get when you do a good job of channeling spirit beings into your body. You get you an Oscar. But Oscar is some kind of little being, that I'm sure that's just the name that they've given to this little being, this little unclean being. You also have the good vampire in Sesame Street, in The Count. You have Cookie Monster for gluttony, and you have Bert and Ernie for some gay undertones. They slept in the same bed. There's a lot of strange action going on between them too. But again, and Jim Henson's 1969 movie, you might want to check that out, The Cure. And then in 1982, The Dark Crystal. Now, I thought that Jim Henson 69 movie was The Curse. But nonetheless, Jim Henson's involvement in the occult prior to his involvement in children's shows can be easily found, documented, and researched. So I'm just going to put that in 1969. But I'm almost sure that I remember that it was The Curse, but I could be wrong. So I was just going to look it up right quick so I can give that information before we get out of here, which we're fixing to do. So I just had a couple more. Animaniacs. Animaniacs. And big shout out to Danny, who helped me come up with a lot of this stuff, to my sister Precious. Animaniacs had some very mature lyrics in their quickly delivered adult level witty little Broadway type of ditties that they would do. And they touched on a lot of things. I just can't find it. Wow, he died on my birthday in 1990, Jim Henson did. I was probably upset. Oh, The Cube, excuse me, by Jim Henson. That's what it was. Jim Henson, The Cube. I'm glad I looked back at that. Jim Henson, The Cube, 1969. That's what it was. I'm so sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, look that up. Jim Henson, The Cube. I mean, you are aware of the occult significance of the cube and how that is the common theme constantly showing up again and again and again in symbology as we move forward in the days of Revelations. Lots of people do work exclusively about the cube and its occult significance and its importance to the powers that shouldn't be. But yeah, what I was saying about in Animaniacs and in Men in Black, you have roaches made comical. Now, Animaniacs, again, that was not Looney Tunes lightweight. They had some very heavy concepts where they explored history and they looked back at a lot of things that we've been told, and they disputed some commonly held and believed things as well. But yeah, roaches made comical or good. Now, it's interesting. Demons and roaches are analogous, I have found. If you see one, there are others. They sense when you sense them. They scatter when exposed to the light. And if you don't keep everything tidy and right, they are attracted to the unclean. And in both movies they made light of them. They're not hard to get rid of when you get on it, when you see the first one. But if you let them, they'll take over. And so that's the lesson. Making evil fair seeming, keeping us on the seafood diet. I thought it was interesting too. Someone had told me the story about having seen a demon that reminded them of the little things on Madagascar, the little monkeys or something they said. And I said, oh, you mean lemur? I said, yeah, it looked just like one of those. Well, I just happened to type in lemur demon, and I got lemur Damon, an app for music, just like Damon Mailer. Why do they have to use that word at all? Damon is the word for demon. We talk about the AE dynamic. Well, you can't get it no colder than that, can you? But there's an app, a music app of all things, called the Lemur Damon. Right? Okay. Then there was the Golden Compass with Nicole Kidman and animal demon spirits in that. Animal Farm, the animals speaking. It was required reading in school, and Dr. Doolittle, the man being able to speak to the animals. Again, it's not that, and keep it in context, it's not that the animals are bad or good. It's for what reason they were created and for what use they should be used versus how we use them. We're eating the ugliest things that there are to eat, when the most beautiful things that there are to eat, the grains, the fruits, the vegetables, things with pretty colors and shapes, these things are being tainted. Monsanto's and other aspects of the elite are doing their best to make it difficult for us to eat what is best. But free will is kicking our tail more than anything else concerning that. We have the freedom not to eat bugs, but we choose to. We have the freedom not to eat the unclean swine, but we choose to. They make eating these abominable things more attractive, and in some cases cheaper, as important. And then we come along and we make the excuse. How can you say on both sides of your neck, on one hand, it's not what goeth into the mouth that defileth a man, as if that means that you can eat whatever you want to eat. That's how you use it, and that's not what that means. You're taking out of context what was meant by the statement. Okay? But we'll say that, and then on the other side of our neck, we'll say, oh, but Monsanto's is trying to kill us. Well, I thought what going to your mouth can't kill you. So don't take stuff out of context. It can kill you. Hopefully it won't. You can do some push-aways. Push away from the table. The Golden Compass, Animal Farm, Dr. Doolittle. Can animals have demon spirits? Asked the Native Americans. Cats as familiars. That is the little companion of the witch or the warlock, who himself is housed by a demon and knows certain little specific things. Again, this is where you find the witches in Halloween thing. This is also the Smurfs, Gargamel and Azrael, their dynamic, and Azrael, the cat, can see these little blue deities, these little blue demons, these little blue beings. Okay, so Halloween and witches, cat's eye, the cat in the Matrix. The glitch in the Matrix was the black cat walking through. Constantine and cat's eyes, you can look through the cat's eyes and see hell or go into hell. Pharaohs and cats, you know that they had cats buried with them by the thousands. Sex kitten, Hello Kitty programming, again using the cats. Mummified cats were given an offering to Bast. Sekhmet is the lion-headed cat entity. And you have Cats on Broadway, did his thing there for a long time. Cat gut used in the guitar. The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Zeus, called Dr. Seuss. Switch the Z around backward. The Aristocats in 1970. Catwoman, Eartha Kitt with her mind-controlled self, and then Halle Berry with her mind-controlled self. Black women as sex objects and with sex kitten programming. The Cat from Outer Space, 1978. Heathcliff and Garfield and Felix the Cat, the prototype of Mickey Mouse. And in the Book of Eli, the opening scene of the cat being used as food. So we've looked at the occult symbolism of the delicacies and of the abominations. We've talked before about Scorpio, how Scorpio was not a scorpion, but it was a mythical beast in the book Star Names and Their Lore. It talked about how there was a beast that had at least had not been proven to exist, that was originally used, and then later on the scorpion was used, a more widely known symbol of terror and secrecy, because they hide in the dark and in holes and things of that nature, and they're terrible looking, and they can have a very harming, if not deadly, sting. And so that is why it is the season, or during the time that we are supposedly passing through Scorpio, it is called the bad luck sign, or we're going through a time that's supposed to be heavily laden with occult energy. Let's say that, can we? So lots of ritual is done during this time. So when they're doing more rituals, you should be doing more praying. Correct? So find you somebody to pray for. If you don't have somebody to pray for, I'll give you one. But I don't believe that you don't have nobody to pray for. I believe you might not want to pray for them, but you look around you and you adopt someone to begin praying for, and then begin to watch as you see things change in their physical life. So that's been enough for me. Again, we'll be back on with the regularly scheduled deprogramming as usual. So I look forward to us getting our hangout on this weekend. God bless you all. Thank you for your continued encouragement, support, and prayers. Peace.